Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our latest Men's Health webinar, which is being brought to you by your Primary Care Network in partnership with Everyone Active. My name's Tara Belcher. I'm a GP at Port Mill Surgery in Hitchin, and I'm the Clinical Director of Hitchin and Whitwell Primary Care Network. I'd just like to start by apologising to everyone for having to cancel the last webinar at short notice. We're hoping to do the subject matter there, which was nutrition and diabetes, at the end of the programme, so that'll be in March. Today we've got Mark with us, who's going to talk to us about the importance of exercise. And if you'd like to put any questions that you have in the Q&A section, then we'll get to those after Mark's presentation. So without any further ado, Mark, have you got your slides?
I have. Let me just share those.
Poor old John C. struggling in the lobby there, isn't he? Keep getting it pinging up.
Yeah, I keep seeing that come up.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Obviously having some technical issues. How are you doing, Mark? I think, as Dion, do you have Mark's slides? Would that be
Has it come up?
helpful? No, not at the moment.
I have got the slides. Let me quickly find them whilst you're doing that.
So as you probably know, this is one of a series, and the next meeting that we've got, because these are all the second Thursday of every month, and our next one is going to be on cardiovascular disease. And then we have one in January, which is about urological health. So we've got those to look forward to. I'm just filling time here, Mark, while we get your slides up. Lovely. So I'm going to turn myself and my microphone off, but if you have got any questions, don't hesitate to put them in the chat, as I say, or ideally in the Q&A, and we will come back to them after Mark's presentation. Oh, they've disappeared again.
Oh, something's happening this end. There we go.
Oh, that looks different. Okay, great.
Okay. Right. Okay. So lovely to meet you all. Like I said, Tara mentioned if you wanted to put your questions in the comments at the end, we'll go through all of those. I'm the fitness manager and exercise referral consultant for Stevenage. So let's start making a move. Okay. Is that coming up okay on your screens there, Tara?
Yep, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, lovely.
I'm loving the little image of someone on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's yeah, Juanita
And they
designed
look
that
like they're
based
in
on
the
me, I think.
yeah, they look like they're in the Everyone Active colours as well. So well done.
Yeah, she's
Staff wear that,
gone
don't
the
they?
full way this time.
Yeah.
So government guidelines are 150 minutes per week, 30 minutes a day of moderate exercise. That'd be 5 days a week, or 75 minutes of high intensity workout per week. Now they can range over many different forms of exercise, swimming, walking, dancing, cycling, rowing, but to name a few. Certainly they're the sort of things we would do within the gym environment. We'd like to encourage people to do 2 strength sessions per week. That doesn't necessarily have to be just weightlifting, but body weight exercises as well. It's very, very effective. Things from push-ups, and if you're struggling with those, you can start against pushing against the wall and work your way down all the way to the floor. Body weight squats, again, are another really, really good way to exercise. Within the gym, we obviously have gym machines with free weights. We use bands. And again, we still use a lot of body weight exercise within the gym. It's kind of made a big resurgence this year, doing body weight workouts and or high intensity circuits. Flexibility work. Now, this is so important. Little things like struggling to get up out of chairs or being stiff when you're trying to roll out of bed in the morning, or in the middle of the night if you want to go and get yourself a drink, if we can work on flexibility as a big part of our programming into exercise, using things such as normal stretching that you'll all be aware of, or if any of you have tried any Pilates or yoga type classes, again, a great resource for just increasing flexibility and mobility. All available as well online if you just want to YouTube those. But I'd highly encourage everyone just to do a bit of a 10-minute maybe in the mornings when you get up out of bed, to work on that flexibility and mobility. We all have barriers to exercise. I have 3 very young children that are 6, 4 and 2. So even if I try and get up before work most of the time, they will also wake up with me and ruin that plan. And everyone has many, many barriers, okay? The main ones we generally have to work with is time. Little cheats. So if you can park a little bit further away from home and increase a walk into home, or a longer walk into work. A lot of my personal training clients will try and do 3,000-4,000 steps on their lunch hour after they've had their lunch, which is a really effective way as well of helping control those blood sugar levels and spikes. So really, very effective. Health conditions. There are numerous exercise referral schemes within the area. I'm sure your GPs will be happy to talk to you about. We do them at the Everyone Active centres, all in the local area. So Stevenage, Hitchin, Letchworth, as an example, all have schemes that can help you get back into exercise. Expense, as I mentioned with the stretching, flexibility and mobility classes, you can YouTube some of these now. Even some of the big social media fitness activists, people like the Body Coach, have uploaded hours and hours and hours of free footage to YouTube. So if it is a cost expense, then yeah, have a look at those online, and they'll give you a really good starting point. Even just say getting out for a nice long walk will make such a difference. Hopefully we're never too old to start. I'm still loving my training now as I approach 50, not too far away. And my exercise passions have changed over the years. I used to love my sports, but as I have got a bit of older, I've had to change what I like to do. So I still lift weights on a regular, but yeah, I do lots of walking and swimming when I take my kids swimming. There's like many low impact kind of exercises as I can get into, so it doesn't inflame my knees too much from all the sporting of my past lives. You don't know what you can do. Again, reach out to GP, see if you can get an exercise referral. You can come and meet with the teams at Everyone Active, and we'll go through all of the many options that are available. Sometimes it is just about finding a passion. And that's what touches on the next point, is maybe you're not a gym person, and not everybody is. But you need to think of this more as physical activity and movement. So any of these things that we've got in the list, you just enjoy doing. So if it is dancing, cycling, walking, gardening, housework's definitely not one for me. I'm useless at that, but it's a great chore to burn some calories on the cheap. Cleaning the car. And playing with the kids, that's the big one for me. They run me ragged since I got home here at 5 o'clock, and as you might be able to tell from the blurred background, I've actually used one of their bedrooms to do this call, so I'm sure they'll be bugging me again before long. But movement and activity is what we really want to encourage. It's not just the gym. If that's not your thing, that's not a problem. Let's just find other ways of trying to keep you as active as we possibly can. We see this a lot, and we're coming up to a time of year where we get a lot of running before you can walk. So January's on its way, and I don't want to shoot past Christmas already, because I'm still not ready for that just yet. But we'll get a lot of people turn up at the gym in January and February, and they'll all want to train 5-6 days a week. happens very often, but people burn out far too quickly. You're not training to enter the next Olympics. Well, if you are, then let me know. We'll work out a more rigorous training program for you. But in general, people are training to either drop a little bit of weight, gain a little bit of muscle, or just become fitter and healthier to have fuller lives. So don't feel that you have to be doing 2-hour workouts and cutting calories to an incredibly low amount and not enjoying your life. Tara did mention we'll be touching on nutrition and diabetes later on in this program in March, but managing calorie intake along with your exercise. You just want to be able to go out to the gym, enjoy yourself, or go to the garden, do whatever it is you want to do, and just keep it on a regular basis. Like with the guidelines at the start, we want you to be doing 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week as an average number. So just get out, do those little bits, find something you enjoy that you want to do, whatever that activity that happens to be, and then set yourself small goals. So the SMART system of setting goals is something we use in all sides of our business, whether it be the physical activity side or the business side. But it works, it's very effective, and you can set yourself these tiny little improvements rather than trying to do a big chunk all in one go. So set your specific goals, whether that wants to be, say, either weight loss, muscle gain, fitness, or improving upon a health condition. How we look to measure that and what that success looks like. Okay, it doesn't have to be you want 10 stone is the ultimate goal, and that would be great, but let's break it off into smaller pieces and look what that might look like in 3 weeks, 4 weeks time, and we'll just kind of edge our way along any of those goals, wherever it be. Say if it's muscle strength or an increase in fitness. I've got myself one at the moment. I'm going to try and run a marathon in April. And I am not a runner. I don't know if you can tell by this, looking at me on the screen, if you can still see me, but I am a weightlifter. So I've had to start with very small goals and starting in running in 1K increments. So very slow, lots of running and walking, and then just increasing my distance month after month. And that's the kind of thing, how you want to measure that. Making it achievable. So again, by making it small and bite-sized, you've got more chance of hitting those goals. Add them up over a year, and as it says in the notes there, you could end up running a marathon. But you don't want to set that in the 12-week goal. Just making yourself more physically active and mobile for 30 minutes a day is a great place to start. Realistic, if swimming is your goal, then yes, you would need a swimming pool. We do have lots in the local area, so you can be a bit spoiled for choice, and we've got a few outdoor ones, certainly at Hitchin and Letchworth, which I highly recommend. I do love the Letchworth outdoor pool myself. But yeah, make it something you know you've got a chance at achieving. That swimming being a great example there. And give yourself plenty of time. 12 weeks is a good time period for managing outcomes. It's not too far away. You can tick them off month by month in 3-month blocks. And it's a really effective and efficient way of making sure you've got a good chance at achieving those. So setting a huge goal, which could take a year, can just be a bit daunting sometimes. You can have that long goal, but break it down into 12-week blocks. This one's very true. I don't know what the ages of you all on the call are, but this is a big one. Okay, so we start to lose muscle mass and muscle strength from the age of 30 if you don't use it. Okay, so those that are continuing to train and push themselves, that doesn't have to happen. And if you look in the world of sport as an example, the strongest people in the world are quite often well into their 40s. So as long as you're continuing to challenge yourself, keep active, keep mobile, you won't have that decrease in muscle mass and muscle strength. I spent a lot of time working as a paramedic, And this was a huge part of our job. 1 in 3 adults over the age of 65 will have a significant fall. Okay, and it can be, a lot of that can be down to a lack of activity, a lack of movement, a lack of those motor skills, things that you automatically work on when you're working out or keeping active. So those little stumbles where at the moment you're great, you can put your leg out, you'll put your arms out to protect yourself from a fall. As we get older and more immobile, we stop doing those things. So you kind of end up falling like a bit of a stiff board, which is where we get more significant injuries. So really, really important that, say, it doesn't have to be at the gym, but work on that flexibility, mobility, and then some body weight stuff, and that again, you'll massively decrease your chance of having those falls. Loss of strength and poor balance is responsible for over 300,000 falls per year, resulting in wrist and hip fractures. I mean, it says it always. We're just not. We're not as bouncy as we are when we're younger. So you fall more like a stiff board, and you're more likely to injure those joints. Osteoporosis, thinning of the bones, really helps if you're doing weight-bearing activity. Okay, so being inactive or largely, say, sedentary will make the bones start to become weaker. I'm sure you've all had either friends or elderly relatives, but that things just start to break much quicker, much easier. So yeah, please, weight-bearing activity. And it's not inevitable. It is reversible. We need to you can make a start at any time, absolutely any time at all. We've got someone at our local park run. She just completed her 250th park run, and bless her, she's 92 and still going. It's amazing to see, very inspiring. I hope I can still do it at that age. I will certainly be trying to give it a go. Very relevant, and what's going on in the world at the moment in terms of some of the weight loss jabs I'm sure you've all heard about. But if exercise was a drug, we would definitely all be taking it. Okay, it can help to prevent all of these diseases: heart disease, type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke, some forms of cancer, osteoporosis, most definitely obesity, will definitely help prevent the falls like we've just discussed, and dependency in others. That's a huge one. As we all get older, you want to become as independent as we all can for as long as possible. Exercise will definitely help with that. And it will help with some of the things we've already discussed. It will help with osteoporosis, back problems, asthma and COPD. The bone density, again, related to osteoporosis. Mental health and stress. Probably the biggest one I use it for these days. I work full time. I have 3 young girls that are addicted to Peppa Pig, and if I don't get out and train and run, I'm pretty sure that would drive me to high levels of stress just having to watch that program alone. Energy levels. The more you train, the more energy you actually have. You know what it's like sometimes if you've been sitting down all day and resting. In theory, your energy levels should be at maximum capacity, but they're not. The less you do, the less you want to do, and you just become more tired and more sedentary. So forcing yourself to get up, just do some little walks, 5-10 minutes to get yourself started. Start anywhere, and it will make a difference. Improves circulation, so blood flow, huge area, and we could spend a whole session just talking about circulation and blood flow alone. But any time you can get the blood pumping around the body, certainly some of the lower, if you're seated a lot, the lower areas of the body that can struggle with blood flow, like your feet, it helps that circulation. It helps to pump the blood around the system. Glucose tolerance. So for any type 2, certainly type 2 diabetics, as well as type 1. But the exercise helps regulate your blood sugar level. So if you've had something, like I've just had a bit of dinner now, if I then go out for a walk for 10-15 minutes, it really restricts the spike in your blood sugar levels, keeps it on a more even keel, which again will help with your moods, with mental health, with stress. It just keeps you on a much even keel. You don't end up finding yourself craving then lots of foods one way or the other. It helps with the nervous system and lymphatic system. Again, can't stress it enough. They're very complicated subjects, but they're just getting yourself out for those 10-15 minutes, 30 minutes a day. If you can get up to that level, will make such a difference, make you feel so much healthier. Your bounce, we've touched on that already with mobility and flexibility. It will just keep you sharper. And if you do have those little stumbles or trip on a bit of pavement, then you're far more likely to be able to steady yourself, keep yourself standing upright. And mental health, again, so important. Juanita has put it twice. But it's just so good. If you can get out and get yourself some fresh air, or if you can get to the gym, put your headphones on, do a good workout, it'll really help manage those stress and anxiety levels, and just give you a bit of you time, really. Active jobs and obesity. So all the work could be undone if you then sit all evening. It can be that bad. Okay, so we love to sit down. A lot of my certainly the back office colleagues will sit at work. They also drive to work. You've had a particularly long and stressful day or a hard day. You want to come down and sit on the sofa, and then we go and lay down on the bed. So on average, I reckon we could be sitting down for around 10 hours a day. That makes it very difficult for the body's metabolism to burn any fats. So 1 pound of fat roughly has around 3,500 calories. An average built person burns around 600 in an hour. So need to run for an hour a day for 6 days, which would be 35 miles, which would be horrendous level of training, and not something we all want to do. Now, the body will burn a certain amount of calories just to function, and that varies between men and women and the size that you currently are and how much muscle you hold. So one of the little things we use at work is that certainly we've implemented with the office staff is every 45 minutes their alarm goes off and they do 60 seconds worth of activity. That could be just going for a walk. They might go to the kitchen, make a cup of tea or coffee, do some squats while they're there, come back to their chair, go back to work. And we do that about, say, every 45 minutes, just so you're not sitting down all day, stuck in the world of your computer or laptop, or you're on a Netflix binge maybe. We've all done it. Just get up every 45 minutes, do a minute's worth of activity. Even something as small as that would make a big difference. And this is the reason why. So what happens when we sit or we're just immobile? So electrical activity in the leg muscles start to shut off. Some people get a bit of restless leg syndrome, but the muscles start to shut off. Calorie burning can drop to 1 calorie per minute, which is frightening. Your body really is shutting down all departments. The enzymes that help break down fat drops 90%. Okay, 90%. You're effectively just storing what you're consuming. After about 2 hours, the good cholesterol starts to drops 20%. After 24 hours of insulin effectiveness drops 24% and will increase the risk of developing diabetes, which is why it's really handy. Like I mentioned, if you've had something to eat, get yourself up, just go for a quick 5-10 minute walk after you've had your meal, make a big difference. people with seated jobs have twice the risk of developing cardiovascular disease as people that stand or have more physically active jobs or lifestyles. Crikey, I'm not sure when they got that slide from. That's frightening. But the message is there. Forget Botox. Exercising is the one that keeps you young. Okay, the more active and mobile you are, the better your overall health and well-being will be. And that's all from me, Tara.
Thank you, Mark. That's great. I mean, I think it's really aspirational, isn't it? That 150 minutes a week, and especially if you're starting from nowhere,
Yeah.
that can feel like it's impossible. But actually, there is, I'm sure you know this, but there is research that they did with some type 2 diabetics who 6 times a day they did 1 minute of
Yep.
vigorous exercise. So that's six minutes. We could probably all manage that, couldn't we? 6 minutes of vigorous exercise during the day in 6 1-minute chunks, and their blood sugar control was better for it. Not only that day, but the next day as well. So, just even actually just small amounts of exercise. Don't think, oh, if I can't do half an hour, I won't do anything.
Yeah.
Anything is better. And then think about the other things you could do, take the stairs rather than using a lift. And as Mark said, maybe park a little bit further away. Actually, my son's in Japan at the moment, and he tells me that it's the done thing. If you arrive at a car park, say at the train station, if you're the first one there, you park the furthest away, because you're going to be in less of a hurry than the people who arrive late, and they need to be closer so that they can get to the train. So it's kind of a socially responsible thing to do. I mean, at work, some of my colleagues have got standing desks. That's quite helpful.
Yes.
And the other thing personally I find is it's quite easy to think you'll do something and then not be bothered. But if you can make a commitment with somebody else to do it together, and it doesn't have to be a team sport, but just let's both go for a walk together. That maybe rather than just meeting up for a coffee or go to the pub or walk to the pub.
Yeah.
Actually, the other thing I did want to show you, and I'm just going to share it now, is that there's a really good website called Moving More, where you can, let me just pull that up. So you can literally just Google Moving More. Can you see that?
Yep, got it.
And if you put your location in, so let's say we're in Hitchin, it'll then come up with all the activities around in Hitchin. It will do it, but I've already done it on the next screen. And then you can choose how close it is, how much it costs. You can put in the date, the time of day, what sort of level. You can see everyone actives all over this website. But actually, if you were to go for something that was, let's say we wanted to do something free because we're worried about the cost, there's Hertfordshire Health Walks, which you may or may not have heard of, but there's lots of those that go from different parts of Hitchin, and they're graded. So some are, a half-hour gentle walk, some are a bit more difficult. It looks like Everyone Active is doing some free personal training sessions at the moment. So everybody on here, that might be something to think about. And then, as I say, there are some other, so there's these different grades. So this is grade 3, this one's grade 4. They get a little bit more tricky. It tells you where to meet. Positive Movement is a strength and balance program for older people, which is at the Sadie Centre, which the Sadie Centre run, but it looks like this is an outreach one. It mentions Parkrun. So I think this is quite helpful if you're not really sure where to start, and you maybe think, well, I'd like to do something on a Tuesday, but I don't know where. Also, I don't know how they decide which things are gender appropriate, but there are all of these different things that you could choose. So I think definitely helpful for some people if you're not sure where to start.
Yeah, that's a great site. I wasn't actually aware of that myself, that one.
Well, as I say, everyone active are on it. So those things are available on there. We haven't got. I don't think we've got any. The only question I think we've had in the chat was, could we share the slides, which we're absolutely more than happy to do, and that may be because compared to some of the things we've talked about, I think this is relatively straightforward.
Yeah.
Exercise is good for you. We all know that we should be doing it. for me, I think some of it is about how you fit it into your daily schedule and routine, because I know we're all really busy. Having said that, my phone intermittently tells me how many hours I've spent on it. And
Oh, brilliant.
if even just a small proportion of that was spent going for a walk,
Yeah.
that would be really great. So I think probably all of us are a bit guilty of saying I haven't got time for that. And that might be true if it's going to a gym class,
Yeah.
haven't got time, it's not the right time for me, takes me 20 minutes to get there. I've got to have a shower afterwards, probably got to do that anyway.
Yeah.
But leaving your front door, going around the block for 10 minutes, you can fit that in whenever you feel like it.
Yeah.
Pop your headphones in, listen to a podcast.
Yeah, that's my favourite thing to do. Put the old podcast on and just give myself 10, 15 minutes of peace and quiet.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to be honest, if it wasn't for my dog who is snoring away behind me, I would definitely get out less. Yeah, borrow your friend's dog if you don't have one yourself. Go for a walk with them. Maybe that would be something that would get you going. Does anybody have any questions? Because as I say, I am aware that this sort of topic is probably going to generate fewer than some things. And our next meeting, which I mentioned at the beginning, is on the 11th of December, is with Dr. Guran, who's a cardiologist. So we'll be talking about things probably like high blood pressure, cardiovascular disease, which Mark sort of touched on the importance of exercise for that as well. But do come with your questions for that too. I'm sure he'll be delighted to field them. But if we haven't got any questions, then thank you ever so much. It's only been half an hour, but we let you spend the other half an hour starting on your exercise journey. Thanks ever so much.
Everyone.
We'll see you next time. Bye.